Today we're going to dust off Grandad's old shaper from the Soviet Union. G'day guys, Matt from Hal Heavy Duty, and in today's video we are going to be machining up a pulley that has to go on to a mud pump. Now we have to make the pulley and modify the taper lock that goes on the shaft. To do this, we're going to have to resurrect Grandad's old shaper from the Soviet Union. I have no idea how old this is, the plates don't say, but they say you can make anything with a shaper except for money. So we've kept this though, and in fact, it hasn't been used for years and years. The last person to lay hands on it was my late grandfather. So I've never used this bit of gear before, but today we're gonna have a play with it. Anyway, let's get cracking. It's a gigantic taper lock here, right? First thing we've got to do is take off bit of the weight. This doesn't need to be there for our purpose, so I'm going to machine this off. I'm going to cut the shaft size to suit that, which will be 6-inch. I know in the shop it's a case of metric and imperial. It's just because drilling is largely an imperial, and they're American pumps. This has come off, that's why. Machine this out. You can use Grandad's old shaper to stick in the Keyway. Let's get started. We'll turn this off. In you go. I'm not going to write a program, I'm just going to machine this manually using my feed controls. Percentage, just be quicker. Come on in. Holy. Damn. Years yesterday, clearly. Yeah, now. It's like a museum relic. We'll figure out how to use it. Yep. Made in the USSR, hey? I'm pretty sure it doesn't have a manual. Bloody hell. So that's the original machine. Grandad's modifications. So he would have had this made to doing all of those head spindles. Show you why he would have had this made. That is what he would have made in it originally. In fact, this exact one would have been made in there. He's a clever man, Grandad.
I'm going to get Willie to give it a bit of an oiling on all the key surfaces. I'm not so concerned with surface dust, but we'll give it a wipe off. We'll be here all day. It may not work, we don't really know. Grandad parked it in the corner for a reason. I don't know about you, but I want to see if this thing works. Give all that a clean off.
Beautiful. Bloody lovely. Just a little one.
So it's 152.35, which is 0.05 under 6 inch. So 6 inch is 152.4, so it's a 6 inch shaft, pretty well bang on.
All right, so there's a little piece of steel been put in here so I can tighten it up and maintain that gap. This now needs to be bored out to 0.3 of a mil above 6 inch. And I figured that out by using a different one to see what the difference is. I'll show you. So this here is to suit an 1 7/8 shaft, but it's 0.3 above 1 7/8, and that's come from manufacturer. It's funny, people always are like, why do you use pounds or inches or stuff? It's because in this shop, we have to use pretty well 50-50 in both, because we've got components on American rigs, and then you've got Aussie stuff, we've got Italian stuff. You just got to use both. So I've got to go 0.3 of a mil above 6 inch on our other pulley. So let's do that. That way it'll slide on, and then when you go to lock the taper, it'll lock on.
You are tormenting Princess. You cheeky little bird. All right. I'm going to take a guess. We are in business. To avoid a bang, we'll make this our 0 point, and then we'll set up everything off around that. So we're going to take this to just over 6 inches. Right, there. Tool 1, Z, 50 to allow for the length of the tool setup. Laughing. So the bore on this lathe is 155 mil, so we're fine there. We're not going to hit the inside as we bore this out, like 3 mil brace. We'll make it so that we come back 158. Just gives us an extra 3 mil past and bore that out. To bore the hole out to 80 mil, I'm going to use this little one here, this little CXMG bar. And then to finish the job, we'll use Kong, just because it's more rigid and a bit more accurate, and plenty of length. Just to widen it enough, get Kong in there. You can see we're already pretty close to 80 mil, so I'm just going to do it manually, and then we'll throw Kong in. Judging by these shavings, it's a cast steel. Interesting.
I don't know how well this will come up on camera, but you can see it actually looks worse than it feels. Now that's with, it's actually probably the best it's come up yet. I think it's because it's cast. It's just not liking it. That's slow. 0.1 feed, very slow speed. And if I go faster, it looks, and I'll show you what it looks like if we go faster, you can compare. That's distinctly worse by going faster, in my opinion. I'm going to slow it down for the final pass, which is weird, but I'm going to slow it down again, just see what it does. Strange.
Shape already? .07 over. Final pass.
Righto. So, got to adjust the stroke. We've got enough stroke there to do what we need to do. So from here is where I can adjust the length of the stroke, or where the stroke actually begins and ends. Rightio, big fella. Now this, we need to come that way. Alright, we'll have another look. A little bit more. Alright, big dog. That'll do it. Good.
You can see, looks good. Yeah, we're going to have a little bit of an issue here. So I've got to rotate my jaws so that I don't hit there, obviously.
I want to cut my Keyway here. That's the best spot to my mind. So we've just come out of the chuck a little bit at the top. I think it needs to be better bolted in. Make some adjustments. Alrighty. Replaced and tightened that a little. Let's give it another crack. Well, I'm really happy with how that turned out. I love playing with it. It's pretty nostalgic for me to realize the last person that had touched that machine was my late grandfather. And I used to watch him he had a shaper, a slotter, a big old green lathe. Funnily enough, most of his gear was from the Soviet Union. They made just indestructible stuff. And we've got old spanners that say, made in the USSR floating around the shop here. So guys, I hope you got as much enjoyment out of that as I did. That was a real special episode for me. Look, you'll see, there's apprentice marks in it. I make mistakes all the time. I'm not the best machinist in the world, but I'm always willing to have a crack, and we always get the job done. But anyway, guys, if you're new to the channel and if you're newly subscribed, thank you. I still just get a kick out of the fact that we've got 60,000 odd subscribers. I think 88 countries tuned in to watch each week, which it's very humbling. Grandad would be looking down just thinking, what on? he'd be happy as. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you. Let me know where in the world you are tuned in from if you're new to the channel. I will catch you in the comments, and I'll catch you on the next one.
Ah, that's where Daddy's got to put the pulley, mate. A pulley. The pulley's going to go right here. Right there. But Daddy's got to make it. Make it! Yeah. This pulley is massive. Should we go do it?